We're so glad you're here. Whatever it is that brought you to A&M Commerce, we're glad about that. We feel like we have an amazing teacher education program, and I think we're a great size because we're large enough to where we have a good crowd, but yet we're small enough to where we know all of our students individually, and we get to know you all very well. And a lot of your instructors, especially when you get to the point of internship and residency, you'll probably have our cell numbers in your phone and vice versa, because we have just a very individualized program. I want you to think about for just a minute what a teacher that you had in your life that made a significant impact on you. Is anybody willing to share a little bit maybe about a past teacher that any of you had that maybe was help in helping you decide to be a teacher?
Yes, I've actually had a teacher. I'm always loved math, and it was actually my principal,
Uh-huh.
but she, they come in and they observe the class, and I was helping the teacher out with some math problems because we was in pre-cal and they didn't really understand the teacher as well. So I got up and I actually helped and teach the class, and
Wow.
um, yeah, actually I helped teach the class, and my principal was in there, and at the end of class they both talked to me, and she was like, if you ever wanted to get a letter of recommendation, or if when you graduate college you can come back and teach for me and everything. And that just really motivated me to become a teacher and actually and help students, because I really love to help students that don't really understand math as well.
Uh-huh.
So I
That's so
really
awesome. What grade were you in when that happened?
it was actually my junior year, and then it also happened my senior year, but I switched schools, junior senior year. So
Uh-huh.
that actually motivated me to actually get up and get into the class and actually help students around. And actually my sister is actually in community college right now,
Oh,
and
uh-huh.
she does math. So when I get off of work, anytime this week or whatever, I literally help her with her math homework and anything she needs. So I'm actually in college level with the math and everything. And
Awesome.
I actually have my boyfriend's actually in commerce too. He's a football player in commerce, and
Oh, uh-huh.
he has math online, so I help him with math, and that really just motivates me to actually become a teacher and just actually help kids and older students and everything. So
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
really
Great
enjoy
story.
doing that.
Good. Great story. I love it. Good deal.
Thank you.
Somebody else?
My grandmother was a teacher, and so she made me want to become a teacher.
That's awesome. Awesome. What did she teach?
She taught second grade.
Second grade. That's a
Yeah.
good grade. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
That's a good grade. Good. Good deal. Anybody else?
I went to a Title I school when growing
Uh-huh.
up, and I had a teacher there that I tried to, fit in because I was in the sixth grade. You know how you stand developmentally, and she pulled me aside from the class, and she told me that she saw something in me, and I actually got commended on in reading that year. She was my reading teacher, and that's the reason why I want to become a bilingual. I'm bilingual generalist, EC through six, because I want to be able to give back to my community in that way. I
Awesome.
want to be that example.
Awesome. I love it. Good deal. Good deal. Anybody else? Okay, we will move on a little bit. I will tell you just a little bit about me and my background. I actually started out in accounting, and that was what my undergrad major was in. And I was going after all that money in accounting. And most all my friends were elementary education majors. And but I thought, no, I'm going after all that money. And so anyway, I worked in accounting for 4 years, and I did make a lot more money than they did. But you know what? All my friends loved their jobs, and I didn't love my job. And so I realized real quickly that your job is just such a huge part of your life that you have to love your job, or your other things in your life don't go so well. So we relocated to Commerce, which was my hometown, and I decided I would go back to school and get my teaching certification, and was able to get my master's at that time at the same time, which worked out well. And so I taught 10 years for Commerce ISD, and I taught a year of first grade and some third grade, and then I taught quite a bit of sixth grade, and loved that. And just thought I would be a teacher in the public schools in Commerce for the rest of my life. But I always had student teachers when I was teaching, and so I got to know several of the professors at the university. And then all of a sudden, this job that I'm in now came open, and I had never even thought about working at a university, but it came open, and I had a couple people say, "Hey, why don't you apply?" And I did, and so 23 years later, here I am in this job at the university, and I've had a lot of different capacities where I've been a center coordinator. I was the past, and I guess I kind of still am now, the coordinator for the middle level 4 through 8 program, and I've done a lot of years of going out and visiting student teachers out in the public school. Sorry, my kids are barking. Out in the public school and visiting them, visiting with their mentor teacher, watching them teach, all that kind of thing, and guiding them along the way. And I've done a lot of advising, which is the main thing that I'm doing right now, although I am still teaching a class now too. So anyway, I've been here a long time and know the ropes pretty well. So we welcome you and know that we're here for you. Our program is very, very supportive. We want to see you guys succeed. It's not a gotcha, you're out kind of program. It's that if we see something that we think might be an issue, we're going to guide you in the right way to support you and help get you to the point where we want you to be so that you will be a successful teacher. So that's of course our main goal is to get you out there and get you to be a master teacher so that hopefully one day you can be a mentor teacher for us and you'll have your own student teacher. So, and I promise you, it's probably not that far away, like you're thinking it might be now, because time goes pretty fast. So, okay, so that's kind of just what I was talking about with this slide is the career that you're going into. It is so rewarding. I've never had a second thought or doubt at all about switching over from accounting to teaching. It was because teaching is just fun. It really is. And I know this probably sounds kind of quirky and but I just remember my first few months that I was actually employed as a teacher. I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I'm getting paid for this. This is so much fun. And again, that may sound a little quirky, but I just love it so much that that's kind of the way I felt. Now I kind of got to a point where it's like, okay, I need the money, but still, it is just such a great career, and it's ever changing. That's another thing that I think is so good about it is that you have a new group of students every year. Every day is different. And it's just like I said, it's fun. It really is. It's fun. So for all of you, but in particular for those of you that are incoming freshmen, these are just a couple of hints. Make sure you attend class. You know, a long time ago, I think students could have gotten away a lot of years ago, gotten away with maybe not going to class and just reading the textbook and you know, doing okay on the test, but that's just not true anymore. Our classes are so interactive and have so many, especially in the education field, have so many activities, group work, all that kind of thing that you learn so much by doing that. Yes, in most of the classes there is a textbook, but you can't get the information learned by just reading the textbook. You absolutely have to be in class and participate in our activities so that we can help teach you how to teach. That's the reason that we don't have a completely online program. A lot of people will ask, well, don't you have an online program? No, we don't. There are a few classes that are online, And of course, this summer, due to COVID, everything is online, but that is a very unusual circumstance. Most of our classes are face to face, and that's why it's because we feel like that we really have to work with you in person, face to face, to in order to be able to teach you how to teach. We just don't feel like we can effectively do that online. So make sure when you get into your classes, make sure your teacher knows who you are. You would be surprised as to how many, sometimes I'll have students that will email me and they'll say, oh, well, I'm having this problem in my class, da, 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 da. And usually my first question is, well, have you spoken with your instructor about it? And 9 times out of 10, they'll say no. And so that's the really first thing that you need to do if you're having any kind of issues at all. Or even if you're not having issues, your instructors are interested to know you and know a little bit about you. So I very much encourage you to talk with them and get to know them as a person. Sit in the front of the classroom if possible. Definitely ask questions. This one is huge and applies now, which most of you guys are already connected with. You're already connected with us, so this is not going to happen to you. But in the future, always be sure and try to register as soon as the schedule comes out and not wait 4 or 5 weeks after registration starts, because those classes fill up. The classes that are in the most demand as far as timing and scheduling and that kind of thing. So be sure that as soon as registration opens up, you contact me, as I will be your advisor, and contact me as your advisor and let me help you with selecting courses for the next semester so that you can get registered and get in those classes that you want to get in. So, and that goes in with the last one where it says see your advisor. And again, that will be me for all of your education work. So,
Question.
yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I am transferring from Calling College, go
Uh-huh.
Cougs,
Uh-huh.
and I was actually thinking of taking some classes on the main campus in Commerce
Okay.
and at the
Okay.
Czech. So
Okay.
who is my advisor? Is it Angie Proctor or
Well,
will it be you?
if you're going to do a little bit of both, it really doesn't matter. Quite
Okay.
honestly, either one of us can work with you. If you think that you're going to go primarily there, then Angie would probably be your better choice just because she's housed there.
Okay.
And so you could pop in and see her face to face when we get to that point. But I'm always here as well. So, if you're kind of half and half, then it really doesn't matter. So,
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
yeah,
I have a
absolutely.
question.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you have to be on the teacher's education program too?
Okay, what do you mean?
Like as taking teacher classes in order to get your certificate, do you have to be in the program?
Yes, yes, you do. So you'll get when you take one of our beginning education classes called LN 300. You will be asked at that point. You'll apply to the teacher ed program.
Oh, okay.
So, are you certain that you want to teach?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good deal. So yes, you will apply. So right now you're admitted to the university and you're starting to take, those of you that are freshmen obviously will start in with the general studies classes, and that'll last you for about a year, a little over a year, or maybe a year and a half. And then those of you that are transfer students coming in will start directly in with our education classes. And so the LED 300 class is one of the first classes that we will have you take, and you'll actually apply to the teacher ed program during that class. So yes, good question. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else?
They did not offer that in my college. They just made you take your teaching classes and the classes that you needed for your associates.
Yes, right. So these classes that I'm talking about are all classes that we only offer here.
Okay.
At a junior college, there are 6 different classes, and I have a slide that'll show that in just a second. There are 6 classes that are considered education classes that can be transferred into our degree. But most of our education classes are higher level, 300, 400 level classes, junior and senior level classes that you can only take here. So, okay. This screen talks a little bit about entrance requirements, that kind of thing. There are some of our higher level classes, and then also our internship and residency, which requires a 2.75 GPA or higher. So you definitely will want to get to that point if you're not already. So I'm going to skip over the slide because I meant to take that out. We've kind of changed some of the things that we're doing. So in our area, we offer 2 different degrees. One of them is a BSIS, which is probably what the majority of y'all will do. And that's just our regular degree. It's a Bachelor of Science. Then we also offer a BAIS, which is a Bachelor of Arts. And the 2 degrees are exactly the same, except the Bachelor of Arts requires 12 hours of foreign language. So if you're doing EC6 bilingual, then it's possible that you may want to do the BAIS and have that extra little bit of foreign language, or maybe you could even test out of a couple of the classes that are required for that. But if you're not bilingual at all, most of the others of you probably will want to do the BSIS. I would say probably 90% of our students do the BSIS and don't have the foreign language, unless it's someone that's a native speaker and already knows some, so they can get some of the classes subbed.
I already have another question too.
Sure, that's fine.
So in high school, I took Spanish 1 all the way to 5. Does that count as would it count as the BAIS bachelor's?
Your high school classes will not, but I do believe that there are some placement tests that you can take where you could possibly test out of some of those classes. So that's definitely something that you will, and I will hook you up with one of our instructors that does the Spanish classes, and she can help you with all that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Sure, absolutely.
When do we register for our classes and everything?
Pretty quick. In your particular case, I was just emailing about you this morning because I was working through a list of new incoming students. I believe that you need to take some TSI tests and things like that, I believe. And
yeah, I just didn't know when to take it, and I emailed my counselor and told her to send over my previous TSI grades over to Section of Commerce.
Oh, okay, awesome. So what is happening right now then is that the university is waiting on getting those scores in, and then you will go on the list of new freshmen coming in, and you'll be contacted about registering for your classes. We've just actually made a change in the past 2 or 3 days because my load was a bit much and I wasn't sleeping much. And so what we are doing now is that those of you that are incoming freshmen, your advisor, and you'll hear from her in the next few days, her name is Kim Scarcelli. And she will be working with those of you that are incoming freshmen, those of you that are coming as a transfer, and then that's going to be me, as well as, of course, I'll continue to work with all of our current students.
Okay, yeah. When can I take the TSI? Is that I
don't, well, I mean, if they're sending over scores from your previous school, then maybe you won't have to take anything. I don't know.
Okay. Because I asked her to send them over.
Yeah, so if those things are on the way over here, I'm thinking you may not have to take anything. It's just that they need those scores to help decide what classes that you'll go into first. Okay, anybody else? So here is a slide that talks a little bit about some of the beginning classes. The first one is LED 1301. That's an education class that can be taken at a junior college if some of you have taken any education classes at a JUCO. The one on the second line is the LED 300 I was referring to a minute ago. And that's where you'll actually do your application into the teacher ed program, okay? And then kind of the next big step is that you're gonna apply for your internship. So your internship and your residency are 2 semesters, 1 each. And so we have a year-long field-based student teaching program, okay? And that's one of the things that we feel like is most beneficial about our program as compared to some of the other programs that are out there, is that we have you out in the public schools for an entire year. Um, Actually, it's more than an entire year, because in your LED 300, which is one of the first classes that you'll take, you'll have 30 hours of observing out in the schools during that class. And that's before you even start your internship. So with your internship, you're out in the schools 2 days a week and you're in seminar 1 day a week. Okay. So like for instance, and it's called a field-based program because it's literally based out in the field or in the schools. Okay. So it would be like, for instance, you might be out in the schools on Monday, every Monday and Tuesday, and then you'd have a seminar on Wednesday. And those seminars would be comprised of the 12 hours that you were registered to take that semester. And this is your next to the last semester. Okay. And so those seminars run approximately 9 to 3 or so. And so it's very much a reciprocal kind of situation where you'll be out in the schools for a couple of days and then you come back to seminar. And so part of the discussion in that seminar is, well, what's been going on out in your classes? What are you doing that's going really well? What did you try that maybe didn't work so well? And how can we improve on that and make it better? And then somebody might say something like, oh, well, we're having trouble with little Johnny and he's doing all these different things. And then somebody else that's in a different school might speak up and say, oh, well, we kind of had that problem and this is how we solved it. So it's very much a discussion of what's currently going on. Because in all the classes that you take before you do your student teaching, that's where you get your pedagogy, you're literally learning how to teach, okay, all of your theory and that kind of thing. So that when you start your internship, it's application, it is hands-on. This is what's going on, this is what happened yesterday, this is what we're going to do to fix it, kind of thing. So then you're learning new material in those seminars, and then the next week, the next Monday and Tuesday, you're going back out into the schools, and maybe you're going to try some of those new things that you learned. And then when you come back to seminar the next Wednesday, everybody's talking about, oh, well, did you try this? How did it go? Did it work? Did it not? How can we fix it? All that kind of thing. So it's a totally back and forth between the schools and seminar, schools and seminar, schools and seminar, so that you have that instructor interaction the entire time that you're doing your student teaching. Okay. So that's your internship semester. And then your residency semester is your very last semester before you graduate. And that semester, you're out in the schools every single day, with the exception of 8 seminars. Okay. And it's kind of the same kind of principle. It's just that you're out in the schools a whole lot more your last semester than you are your first semester. So your first semester is very much getting you ready for everything and doing some practice teaching for sure, because you're going to do quite a bit of practice teaching even during your internship when you're there 2 days a week. But then when you get to your residency and you're there every single day, you're really going to, that's really where the rubber hits the road, and you get all of that wonderful mentorship with your mentor teacher that you're assigned to, and then also with your field supervisor or liaison, your university person that comes in. But we go in and visit you guys pretty often, about once a week or so. And so that, and we have certain partnership districts that we work with, and I'll talk about that in a little while. But that's why we have you guys concentrated in these partnership districts. It's so that when we come out and visit, we can see several of you on one visit, and we don't have to go to 50 different districts in the area and lose a lot of travel time. Okay, so that's the way all of that works as far as internship and residency goes. You'll actually interview with the district that is your first choice. And so it's a reciprocal situation, because they'll pick you and you'll pick them, okay? And of course, a lot of that is geographic, having to do with where you're living and where what was going to be most convenient place for you to do your student teaching. And another important thing you'll also want to think about with that is also where you think you want a job, because so many of our interns and residents actually get hired in the district where they do their student teaching. Because when you think about it, it's like a year-long interview. Those mentor teachers, that principal on that campus, they know you very well after you've been on their campus for an entire year. They've seen you on your good days, your maybe not so good days, and they know that you're punctual. They know that you are somebody who goes above and beyond, and you get in there and do a really, really great job, and they're going to want to hire you. It's because they already know a lot about you. Whereas when they're interviewing with other people that they don't know anything about, that person could do a wonderful interview, but yet not turn out to be the greatest teacher. Whereas they've seen you for an entire year and they know how you do things and know that they want to have you on their staff. So, but that is a huge benefit of our program, is that so many of our students do get hired by the districts where they do their internship and residency. So you really want to get in there and make a good impression on everyone, and you will absolutely walk away with a job in your hand. So,
Question.
yes.
Do you guys choose the internship location for us, or do we get to pick that?
You get to pick it. You pick it. You will pick the district, and then the district will pick the campus and the teacher.
Got it.
But you definitely get to pick the district, because we want you to, number one, pick the district where you think that you might want to teach, and then also pick the district that's going to be most convenient for you as far as driving time. So.
Because my plans were, I finished to get my associates for teaching in May, I guess May 14th, May 15th. My plans was to apply for being a teacher's aide, but all their schools are closed right now.
Yes, absolutely. Everything is closed. Okay,
yeah,
so
anything right now.
Okay, yes. So if you want to apply to be a teacher's aide, you need to make sure that when we visit and select your classes that you let me know that. We have what's called an aide program. Okay, and that is a variation of our regular field-based program. And it's a program where all of the classes that are offered in that program are either in the evening, online, or in the summer, so that you can take every class that you need while you're still holding down that aide time, full-time job. And then your student teaching will kind of be on the job kind of thing. And you'll be able to work and keep that aide job the entire time that you get your certification. If you are an aide in a school district, then you would have to be in a program like that, because when you get to the point of your student teaching, of course, that's during the day, and so you can't hold down a regular daytime job while you do your student teaching. The huge majority of our students do work while they are working on their certification, but most of them have jobs that are like some evening hours, like a restaurant or whatever, and then maybe some on the weekend, so that they can go to classes during the day and do their student teaching time during the day, and then take classes evenings or whenever. So.
Well, thank you so much for the information, because I didn't even know everything about this. And I've been doing it since last year, last fall.
Oh, you have been? Okay, well, be sure that you make me aware of that when we work your schedule out, and we will need to make sure that we get you declared as being in the aide program, because it is a different program. And it truly is designed for people who have been an aide for 5 or 10 or 15 years. Even if you're just newly entered into the job, we still can make that work. And what it's doing is it's giving you a little bit of credit for your experience of working as an aide in a school, as opposed to the other program. But I will say the other.
I'll definitely think about which one it will be better for me.
Okay. I will say, though, that the field-based program is without question a more thorough and in-depth preparation program than the aid is, because like I said a minute ago, the aid program is truly designed for people that have been in aid for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they already have a whole lot of experience. And so, and plus, when you do your student teaching, you're doing it more kind of on the job. And so you're not getting that daily mentoring like people do in the field-based program. So,
Thank you.
and teaching is, although it is such a fun job, it's also challenging. I mean, it's no secret that, you know, things for teachers in some ways are getting, you know, kids, a lot of kids out there with a lot of issues that you know, need a lot of help in a lot of different ways. And so you need a good, thorough preparation in order to have all the tools in your toolbox that you will need to get out there and be a very effective teacher and be able to help those kids and, you know, in a good, positive way. So. All righty, I'm gonna move on a little bit. So our degrees, so your degree is a BSIS or a BAIS, okay, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Arts. These are your concentrations, and most all of you have already selected those as well. EC6 Generalist, EC6 Bilingual, and then there's also an EC6 Special Ed. And the bilingual and the special ed are both generalist and bilingual, or generalist and special ed. They're actually both. And so with those concentrations, you would take 3 certification tests instead of 2. But you would have, you know, you'd have a broad range of what you're certified for. So, and then we also have the 4-8 programs, 4-8 concentrations, 4-8 math and science, ELAR, and then social studies. So those are all options as well. And when you do those, you pick a certain subject. Your EC6 is generalist. That's a little bit of everything. But your 4 through 8 is in a certain subject area. And so you have about 6 classes that are specific to your concentration. So you're really kind of an expert in that area, which is really a good thing, because you think about all the emphasis these days that's on testing. And so when a principal has, you know, if a school is having some issues with low math scores, low ELAR scores, low science scores, whatever, they like to have and hire someone who is a specialist in that area, because they know that that person has extensive training in that subject area. So that's a good thing. So, but then some of you, you know, especially those of you that want to teach the littles, you know, will definitely want the EC through 6 degree. This goes in and talks a little bit more detail about the special ed. There also is an all levels special ed, but that's more for people who would want to be like a director of special ed and just really make special ed their career. The next 3 or 4 slides are more specific to special ed, and so I'm going to kind of, for time's sake, I'm going to kind of skip through those a little bit. This slide talks about the certification exams, and so those of you that are EC6 generalist or 4 through 8 will take 2 certification exams, and that's what will be required to get your initial certification. You'll take one called the PPR, Pedagogy and Professional Responsibilities. That test in the past has been taken on a computer, but it's been all multiple choice questions, okay? In the next couple of years or so, by the time you get there, that test is going to be totally different. In fact, we're actually piloting it in Mesquite this semester, this new way of testing. And that's not something that we do, it's governed by the state, okay? And the state is changing the way they're giving that test, and what it's going to change to is video. And so the student is actually going to videotape themselves teaching, and then go in and do explanations about, well, this is why I did this, and this is where I did this, and this is where I did that. So it's very much more of an application of your knowledge of teaching than it is just answering a bunch of multiple choice questions, okay? And then the other test that you'll take will be your subject area test. It'll be your core subjects for those of you that are doing EC6, or for those of you doing 4 through 8, it'll be your subject area test. And those are the two that are required for your initial certification. Then a lot of you probably will want to also get the ESL supplemental. A lot of districts are requiring that these days, and you will have classes that will help you prepare for that. So you'll be very prepared to take that ESL supplemental test as well. And then for our bilingual friends, there is another test that you guys will take, and that'll be your bilingual exam. So, but that's something to worry about a little bit later. You know, your main concern right now is just to get as much as you can out of all of your classes, because all of those classes are structured together to help you be successful on that exam. And our exam scores are truly very high. Our pass rate is for students who really get in there and glean a lot of information out of the classes that we do. We're very proud of our test scores. And so it's just shown that when students get in there and apply themselves in the classes and learn the material, they do very well on the test. So it's, so again, this just kind of lists all the different areas, concentrations. So we've kind of already talked about that. And this is kind of, you know, your freshman, basically, you're going to be taking core. Your sophomore, you'll finish up your core. You'll start in on some education classes. Your junior year will be all education classes, learning how to teach. And then your senior year will be that student teaching, which we call internship and residency, where you're part out in the field and then you're part in seminar. So. Okay, this is what our degree plan looks like, and it kind of has, this is good information because it shows you approximately the classes that you'll be taking when you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior. It's not going to be exactly that way, but it will be pretty close. So you can see that your core is all in your freshman, and then some in your sophomore year. And then here you start in with all your different education classes. And then here's your internship and your residency when in your last year. So in your degree is a total of 123 hours.
So question.
Yes.
In our senior year, basically just based on the internship and residency. So you don't have to take any math classes or science class.
Yeah, that's correct. So that's a good question. So when you start on your internship and residency, at that point, you're basically finished being a traditional student.
Okay.
And so at that point, you're going to be out in the schools and you'll go to seminars, and that's it. Now you will, for your seminars, you will have a few assignments, but it's nothing like going to a Tuesday, Thursday class.
Oh yeah, I was wondering, well, how are you supposed to take your math classes or your history classes?
Yeah, no, you've already, no, at that point, you've already done all that. Mm-hmm. You've learned all your theory, and so in that last year, you're applying all that theory in your student teaching processes. So this is on the screen now is just kind of showing a list of all your general studies classes that you will be taking or that you've already had. And then this shows all of your education classes. This is the way it's going to look on your degree works. In your degree works, all of you have access to your degree works. It's in your MyLeo account, and it is your official degree plan. Okay. And so you'll see a link when you go into your MyLeo account. You'll see a link in there that says undergraduate degree works, and you should be able to get in there right now. And you can look and see if I've already declared your concentration, then you can look in there and you can see, and it will look very much like this, and it will show with the green check mark all the classes that you've completed, and then it'll show with the red still needed all of the classes that you still need. So if you've not gotten into your degree works and kind of looked around a little bit in there, I would really encourage you to do that. And the other really cool thing about looking at your degree works online is that each one of the course numbers and names, like for instance, say LN 300, when you hover over that, you'll notice that it's a link, and you can click on that link and a box will pop up, and that box is going to tell you when and where those classes are offered. So that's the easiest way to plan your schedule, is to plan it within your degree works, because that way you're only looking at the classes that you need. Okay. If you go to like the big main schedule, you're sorting through thousands of classes that you don't need. But when you look at it within your degree works is only for you, personalized for you. And so the classes that you're looking at within your degree works are, the only ones really that you need to be concerned about. So
Question.
the education classes that are highlighted on this slide are the ones that can be transferred in from a junior college. So that's what all that highlighting is about. And you'll notice that there's several, it's kind of divided up into sections, like there's an interdisciplinary core section, there's a specialization section, and a professional development section. So we look at your GPA, when we say we want you to have a 2.75, that's not only just your overall GPA, it's also your GPA. You'll have, on your degree works, you'll have a separate GPA calculation for each one of those 3 areas that I just named off, okay? And we want each one of those area GPAs to be a 2.75, because what that does is it shows that you're well-rounded, and that you're not like really high in one area and then not so high in another area. So we want you to have that strength in all those different areas. So
I have a question.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm actually looking at that sheet that you just passed over, but I'm looking at the Department of Curriculum and Instruction, EC through 6th. For the sake of the sciences, so if I come in core complete, does it matter what science I take?
No, it does not, and that's really a good question. Okay. Let's see. If you come in core complete, we are forced to take all of the classes that you have had. Cool. Okay, and that's the really cool thing about being core complete if you're coming from a junior college, because some of the junior colleges will have a little bit different choices of classes that you can take. But if you're core complete, meaning that you have those words printed on your transcript, we have to take everything that you've had, and we have to mark your general studies as totally finished.
Okay, so here's another question. So I'm not coming in core complete, but I'm going to be dual enrolled. I have 2 more sciences left to be core complete.
That's fine. I think that's fine, because as long as you've taken enough at your junior college to where they'll print the words core complete on your transcript, it's fine for that to happen even after you've already started with us.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so not a problem at all. This is a list of the education classes that can be taken at a junior college. And on the left-hand side is what the junior college calls them, and then on the right-hand side is what we call them. So, and then I know I've given you a ton of information, a lot. And so anyway, but always know that I'm here for you and here to support you, answer any questions at all. I'll have people that'll email and they'll say, oh, I'm sorry for bothering you. You're not bothering me. That's my job. Okay. And so that's what I'm here for, is to make sure that you don't go through wondering about things, and also that you get through as efficiently as possible and make the best use of your time. Several of our classes have prereqs, and there's, in education, there's just kind of a lot of hoops to jump through, and I will help you with every bit of that. So it really is very important that you stay in close contact with me and let me help you, guide you through this process so that you're as efficient as possible. This is good for you to know, and this is an actual study that TEA recently did, and it showed that of our graduates, they went in, what they did is they tracked our past students, and people that had, our students that had graduated after 5 years, 86% of them were still out there teaching, okay? And then they did that same study with students who had gone through other programs, like especially alternative certification programs, where there's not as much training as what we have. And that study showed that only 50% of the students were still teaching after 5 years. So that's a huge difference. And that difference is made up because our program is thorough and gives you very good training so that you have all the tools that you need to be able to get out there and be a great teacher. And when problems arise, you know what to do about them. You can just pull those tools out of your toolbox and know what to do. So that study, and again, that's not our study. It was done by Texas Education Agency. So I think that says a lot, says a whole lot about our program. So here's my contact information that I was speaking about. And so if you want to take a screenshot of this or whatever, then feel free to do that. But like I said, I'm here for you and will guide you every step of the way and help you with whatever you need. We also have kind of made some changes with advising in that we have what we're calling concierge, and they're kind of here to help guide you too in things, in advising kinds of things, but not academically, not having to do with your degree, but having to do with other kinds of things. Like if you have an issue with housing, or if you have an issue with some other kind of service at the university, they're here to help you with that. And then also our college has a financial aid person that is assigned to us. And so anytime you have questions about financial aid or scholarships, we can give you the names of those people, and they're the ones for you to contact. They'll be your go-to person in the financial aid department to kind of help you with that. So I'd like to show you a little video that does, I think, a really good job of telling a little bit of our program.
Might as well be, so then she'll see.
Sorry? Okay, this video actually features some of our past students, and it features our department head. And it's just real short, I think about 1.5 minutes or so, but I'd like for you to see it. Let me know if you can hear the volume in it.
I've honestly always wanted to be a teacher before I could even remember.
I learned that I love learning, and I wanted to be that person that helps students realize that they love learning.
Education is not anything you just jump into.
We are a 2-semester student teaching program. From day one, our students are working with students. They're getting that basket of tools to work with so that when they're out there day one by themselves, they're ready.
Experience in front of a classroom of students, nothing can take the place of that.
We think that in order to keep teachers in the classroom the longest and to help longevity, they need that kind of preparation so that they know what they're going to have out there.
I really believe strongly that being able to go to Commerce and be a student teacher in a real school for a full year, any obstacle that comes to you, you'll be ready for it.
Schools or principals, they fight for our teachers because they come in so well prepared. They come in often looked at like a second-year teacher.
The education program at A&M Commerce, I really don't have enough words to thank them.
Okay, questions?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
What is the for once you get into your teaching, part of your curriculum, what is the student teacher ratio?
In our classes?
Yes, for your more specialized classes.
We cap our classes at 35.
Oh,
So
cool.
there will never be more than 35 in your education classes. And a lot of our classes would have less than that, maybe 25, 30, something like that. Just kind of depends, but never more than 35, and usually not that many.
Okay, I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. So now, and those of you that are incoming freshmen, you may have a few classes that might be a bit larger than that, like, I don't know, 50, 60, but I don't think many. I think most of our classes are still in the 30 to 40 range or so, something like that. So, like I said, it is just, it's very personal. We're small, and it truly is very personal. It really is. Any other questions? I hope you, if you don't already have it, I hope you jotted down my email address, and you're always welcome to call call and visit, or email or whatever. So
I have a question.
yes.
So I don't know who my advisor is. All I know is that once I get my final transcript from Eastville, I just send it to Commerce, and then I'll be ready to sign up for classes. But I really didn't.
Right.
Whenever I went to the campus, they say that I'm still a little bit earlier to find who my advisor and registering for classes.
Okay. Well, if you're doing education, and I don't remember, did you say you were doing EC6?
Yeah.
Yes, I will be your advisor. That's me.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, I will. I will be your advisor, and I will help you all the way through. All the way through. You know, and it's just kind of amazing, because so many students, they come into my office and they'll say, "Oh, this just seems like it's going to take forever." And I said, "No, you'll see. It really won't." And part of the reason is because you're doing what you love. And when you're doing what you love and you're happy, it really goes by very fast. It really does.
I have another question.
Sure, absolutely.
So for my first year in Eastville, my advisor helped me to register for the classes that I need. And then after the second, third year, it was on my own. So I don't know how Commerce does it.
No, I want to keep in touch with you guys at least once a semester, okay? And I want to help you select your classes. Now I will show you how to register so that you can literally register yourself. But as far as selecting classes, I want to be involved in that, because I want to make sure that you're being as efficient as possible.
So will you be able to help me to register and select the classes that I need?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
We set up an email time with you, or is it going to be a Zoom meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you will be able to find me. Well, another thing too, when you look at your degree works, my name it's going to say advisor. So over when you open up your degree works, on the left hand side, you're going to see either your picture will already be there, or there will be a place for your picture. Okay. And then kind of to the right of that, you'll see where it says advisor, and my name will be there. I go by Becky, but it's going to say Rebecca. But that's me, and it's actually a link, and you can click on my name, and it will email me.
Okay, because my advisor, I'm looking at my degree works right now. My advisor is empty, so is my concentration, and so is my minor.
Okay, so that will, once we get you declared, that will all be filled in.
And I email you to declare.
Yes,
cool.
Yes. Go ahead and send me an email sometime today and remind me of what concentration that you want. And then we'll get you declared, and we'll get the process rolling, and I'll get my name in there.
Thank you.
Okay, absolutely.
What is the difference between the bilingual and the ESL?
Of course, okay, so good question. ESL is helping kids learn English that are second language learners. So, but the big difference between ESL and bilingual is that the ESL teacher does not know the other language. They use strategies like a lot of pictures and things like that to help the kids learn English that come in not knowing English. A bilingual teacher actually knows the other language. And so they can converse with the students in their native language. You know, but the ESL, so your bilingual is going to be, and some districts have bilingual teachers and some don't. It depends on their population. But almost all teachers, almost all districts at this point are requiring their teachers to have the ESL certification, because they want teachers to have that knowledge of how to work with kids. When you're a classroom teacher and you have a child that walks in your classroom that doesn't speak a lick of English, which will happen, because it happened to me when I was teaching sixth grade, you have to know strategies and you have to know how to deal with them. Now, they're going to pull them out of the class some to give them some individualized instruction. But for the most point, that they want that person that is non-English speaking in the classroom, because in the regular classroom, because that's how they're going to learn. They're going to pick up so much from the environment that they're in.
Honestly, that's how I learned, I guess, a few years after, how I wanted to be a teacher, because when I came to this country, I did not know any English. And I think it was 6th grade. My teacher, I had her for reading, ESL, and writing, 3 English classes, and I was like, oh my gosh, how am I supposed to even know this without knowing any bit of language? And that teacher, she helped me in every way, any way that she could. I came earlier and stayed later. And honestly, I was so connected to that teacher, like personally way too. And that's how I knew, like, I want to be able to do this for other kids that are struggling too.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty wonderful.
Okay, so I have a question based off of that.
Okay.
Would I be more marketable if I got a bilingual certification, or is ESL just as marketable?
Okay, just as marketable. Are you bilingual?
No.
Okay, you have to be bilingual. Huh? Okay. You have to be bilingual to do the bilingual program.
Okay.
Yeah, because it is absolutely conversing with people, you know, in Spanish.
So a couple of years, 2 or 3 years of high school Spanish doesn't do it.
It would be tough. It would be tough. It would be tough.
That's
they have some tests that you can take to see where you are with that, if you think that you might be interested in that. So you might want to pursue that some. But as a general rule, they'll say that if you're not fluent in Spanish, that it's best to not go that direction, because you're going to have some classes. You will have some bilingual classes in that program that will literally be taught in Spanish.
Okay, thank you. That clarifies that.
Okay. Okay. I understand. Yeah, it's not knowing just, you know, a little bit of conversational Spanish. It's a lot more than that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Our classes, like I kind of mentioned, I think our time is up, but like I kind of mentioned at the beginning, our classes are very interactive and do lots of project kinds of things. And so I have another little video that I'd like to show you, and we'll kind of, we'll see if there's any more questions, and then if not, we'll kind of go out with that. But it shows a lot of photographs that were taken in a lot of the classes. A lot of the classes actually were mine in over the past semesters. And it shows you a good synopsis of how everything is very hands-on. You know, you're not going to be sitting at a desk for an hour and 15 minutes listening to a lecture. You're going to be doing things, doing group projects, doing, you know, all kinds of practice activity kinds of things. Like I said, we just feel like we need you face to face so that we can help you learn how to teach. So, any other questions from anybody? No?
Okay. I have a question about orientation. Are we gonna do the virtual thing, or are we actually gonna go to the campus?
No, they have made the decision that all of the orientations this summer will be online. They'll all be virtual.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
But then there's also an early, what they're calling an early registration program, whereby after they get you all in the system and with you, where they get your test results in and all that, then we can get you declared, and I can advise you on your courses. And then I can email the orientation office and get them to temporarily lift your hold so that you can get registered for your classes, actually even before your orientation date.
Okay,
and
thank
you. That's definitely something that you'll want to take advantage of, because of course, the further we move on through the summer, the more classes fill up. So it's always to your advantage to register as soon as possible. So as soon as we get your classes worked out, then I can email the orientation office. And I think they require, in order to do that, I think they just require that you already have an orientation date scheduled.
Okay, will you be there like to help us register for our classes?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, I will help. Well, it'll be virtual, but I will help you, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, everything's virtual these days, yes.
So question.
Sure.
I'm looking towards my degree works, and then it says I have a major of English, I guess, or my major would be English.
Okay, we'll have to change that. Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah. I don't know how would I change that.
I do. I'll change it for you.
Okay, I'll email you later. But I see that my degree is Bachelor's of Arts, so I think that should be fine.
Okay. Yes, email me and we'll get that all worked out for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody have any other questions about anything? Okay, well, remember, you have my contact information. Don't ever hesitate to email, call, whatever. I'm here to help you and answer any question you have. And if I don't know the answer, then I definitely know who to contact to find the answer. So I have enjoyed visiting with all of you today. I'm so glad you're here at A&M Commerce. And I'm going to start this little video, and you're welcome to stay on as long as you wish and watch it or tune off, whatever is good for you. So thank you guys for tuning in so much.
Thank you for your time.
Appreciate you. Absolutely. We're glad to have you here at A&M Commerce. This is one we usually show at our main event.
Welcome to Texas A&M University Commerce, a campus that is rich in tradition and home to nearly 10,000 students from throughout Texas and the world.
Taking a break from all your worries sure could help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You wanna be where you can see troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name. You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old past said. Boy, you got a friend in me.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all so much. Y'all have a great day.
You too.
Okay.
You too. Thank you.
Absolutely.